if you all follow me on social media, you all saw an interview that I posted about 4 weeks ago with Washington Nationals pitcher Josiah Gray. And Josiah is from New Rochelle. And yes, he really a special kid. And that is where our opening report is going to begin today, folks. All right, and after that, we'll discuss the Mets and the Yankees. And there's not a whole lot to discuss with either one of those ball clubs. And as they both of them are really about a month away from having their season being over. But we'll get more into that in a few. And I have a report about on some former Major League black ball players who participated in the Little League World Series, and I play that today because the Little League World Series today is being played in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It's a place where I had the opportunity to go 9 years ago, and I'll get into that later. So we're going to do all that, have a lot of really good stuff for you all, but first, our opening report. And folks, how many of us sports fans grew up dreaming about playing not only professional sports, but playing for the team that we grew up watching? That is the dream that many of us have had at one point or another. A couple weeks ago, folks, we brought you the story of Kim Ng, the first and still only woman general manager in men's professional sports. She is the general manager of the Miami Marlins, of course, and she grew up in Queens, not as a Mets fan, but a Yankees fan, rooting for the Reggie Jackson, Thurman Munson, Billy Martin Yankees. And by 1998, Kim Ng was hired by the Yankees to be their assistant general manager. Shout out to Brian Cashman and George Steinbrenner for making that hire 25 years ago. And yes, now there is a 25-year-old, all right, so 25 years ago, Kim Ng was hired by the Yankees, right, to be their assistant general manager. Now, 25 years later, there is a 25-year-old ball player in the major leagues from our area. He grew up a Yankees fan, and he is one of the few Afro-American pitchers in the game. And this past Tuesday night, folks, he lived out a childhood dream, well, sort of, because he was on the Yankee Stadium mound, but not pitching for them. He was pitching against them. Josiah Gray from New Rochelle, New York. If you follow me, like I said, on social media, then you may have seen a video interview that I did with Josiah about 4 weeks ago in Queens when Josiah's Washington Nationals played the Mets. And I discovered then that he and I have something in common, as does Kim Ng. We all grew up Yankee fans. What can I say, folks? Now, I was in Seattle in the middle of July for the All-Star game, and so was Josiah. He was the Washington Nationals representative at the Midsummer Classic, the first All-Star selection of his career. On Tuesday night, not only was Josiah pitching at Yankee Stadium and against the Yankees for the first time, but our New York Yankees, New York City, are in trouble. But it's okay, folks, because the Yankees have maintained a high standard for years, but this season may mark the end of their 30-year streak of not having one season where they finish under 500. And when Josiah faced the team who he grew up rooting for on Tuesday night, they had lost 8 straight games. Yikes! And Josiah and the D.C. Nationals gave the Yankees their 9th loss in a row, beating them by the final score of 2-1. This game was tied at 1 apiece for much of the game, and in the 8th inning, another young Afro-American star, rising star for this Nationals team, shortstop C.J. Abrams, hit a solo home run to right field, and that was it, folks. And shout out to C.J. Abrams. You can see him also with me in an interview that I did with him before that game, all right, if you follow me on the social media. Now, Gray pitched 6 innings on Tuesday night. He allowed 1 run, a home run to Yankees catcher Ben Rortvedt. And that was in the 3rd inning. That was the only hit that he allowed to the Yankees all night. He struck out 4, And after the game, folks, Josiah was not shy about expressing his joy for pitching in the ballpark where he made so many memories. Folks, as a kid.
It meant a lot to go out there and be able to just pitch against, the team I grew up rooting for. To be able to pitch in front of, friends and family is always something to be excited for, something to be proud about. So I'm glad, I had a lot of people here today and got to throw a pretty good outing for him. And, I definitely was looking forward to this one.
And Josiah tells us, folks, how he became a Yankees fan.
Yeah, for me, it was Jeter. So ever since I can remember, we were, Yankee fans. And I had a lot of vivid memories growing up. Probably nothing more prominent than Aaron Boone hitting that walk-off against Tim Wakefield. And I remember my dad screaming, waking me up about that moment. And that's probably the most vivid Yankee memory I have. And, just growing up, just being able to watch guys like Jeter, Cano, A-Rod, list goes on. And just really loved coming here when I could. And it's really cool to, look, 10, 15 years later, here I am, making a start at Yankee Stadium. And it's definitely a full circle moment and something I'll never take for granted because this is really cool. Just to be able to go out there pregame and walk around Monument Park. I remember sitting in the 400 level and just thinking the big leaguers were so cool. I looked up to all of them, and I always had that feeling of, like, I don't know if I'll ever be close to those guys or get to talk to those guys, but here I am now, as a big leaguer. And it's just one of the things you really, really appreciate, and it makes you appreciate how far you've gone. I dreamed of doing this as a kid, and here I am at Yankee Stadium, pitching, and it's really can't really put it into words. It's definitely was awesome to go out there and just be able to fulfill a childhood dream, honestly.
Josiah was born in 1997, so he probably doesn't remember much of the dynasty teams that won 4 World Series from 1996 through 2000.
So not exactly, but that was probably the most vivid memory I've ever had. I just remember waking up and running across our house to cheer on the guys with my dad, and while we watched them, celebrate around the bases. And I remember, coming to games in 2009 when they were, obviously pushing for the playoffs, and just so many vivid memories. And I grew up just a baseball fan, but definitely rooted for the Yankees more than any other team.
And yes, 2009 was the last time the Yankees won the World Series, and it was the last time they were in the World Series. Now, Josiah's manager, Washington Nationals skipper Dave Martinez, was actually given a 2-year contract extension on Tuesday before the game, so good for him. He deserves it. The Nationals actually won the World Series in 2019 before Josiah got there, and since then, the organization has traded away all the best players and begun a rebuild. After the Nationals won the World Series in 2019, we know the following year was 2020, which was a disaster for everybody, and the demolition of their championship roster began immediately after they won that World Series 4 years ago over our friends, the Houston Astros. The Nationals have finished in last place every year since they won that World Series, and Josiah got to the team in 2021 when he was originally a LA Dodger and was traded to Washington in a blockbuster trade where Washington traded their future Hall of Fame pitcher Max Scherzer to the Dodgers. Josiah was a big prospect going from the Dodgers to the Nationals in return. After the game, I asked Dave Martinez, Nationals manager, about his young pitcher. Hey, Skip, I know that you're aware that Josiah is from this area, so just how do you think he handled his nerves and everything just coming today, pitching in a stadium where just a few years ago he was a fan and rooting for the team?
Yeah, he was awesome today. He really was. I mean, he kept his composure. I know this is a big day for him. He's a big fan of the Yankees when he was a kid. The pitch on this mound was big for him. So and he did well.
I was just wondering, when you all made the trade for him 2 years ago, just what did you all see in him, and how do you think that he's put it together to become an all-star this year?
No, he's a guy that we really liked. We thought he was very competitive. He had great stuff, and now working with Hickey, he's kind of starting to put it all together. So, and he wants to get better. But what I love about him, everybody sees him every 5 days. He works really hard in between, to get better.
And Hickey, as the manager just mentioned, is Nationals pitching coach Jim Hickey. Now the question that we all want to know, Josiah, after handing your childhood team their 9th loss in a row, do you feel sorry for your boys?
No, I think that fandom goes away when when you join the professional ranks. So I mean, yeah, they're scuffling a bit, but they can turn that around as quick as any other team. So we just want to go out there and take care of what we can take care of, and just lead our team to wins.
Coming up in high school and after high school, Josiah was overlooked and had no Division I scholarship offers. He only had one scholarship offer, period, and that was from a Division II school in Syracuse, Lemoyne College. And Josiah made the most of that opportunity. Now, there are a lot of young athletes in our area who dream to make it to where Josiah has, and he has some advice for the kids out there in our community. Listen up.
Man, there's so many different things I could say, but I think the number one is make sure you're using all your resources out there. There's so many avenues of free information that can take your game to the next level. With social media, with anything, there's tons of people out there willing to help guys, and I think for me specifically, I feel like I benefited just from making sure I was using every avenue to try and make myself better. So for younger players, in this area especially, there's so many people out there that are willing to help you, so many different outlets. So, it's a matter of how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to get better and just make a name for yourself?
In 2018, you were drafted. So in 2017, before you got drafted, when you were still at Division II Syracuse, how much were you watching the Yankees? And could you envision, if that was Judge's rookie year, he had 52 home runs, could you envision yourself being on his mound and striking him out twice in the game?
Yeah, honestly, no. It's crazy to think about, how things have progressed over the last 5-6 years, going from, a Division II school to, making my way up the professional ranks to here I am now. So it's something you can't really put into words. And I watched some baseball during college, but, we were playing our season as well. So it was more or less highlights, and, you see Judge hitting all the home runs and them doing their thing. So I tried to watch as much as I could, but ever since, I went to college, I wasn't able to watch as much.
Coming here, did you allow yourself at all, at any point during the night, to just sit back and just be proud of what you've been able to do? And also just how excited were your family to come here tonight?
Yeah, definitely just enjoyed coming here. When I got here on the bus, just arrived and walked around for a little bit, went to Monument Park for the first time, so definitely enjoyed that. And getting to see my family after was a sweet moment to see, 30-plus people there, friends and family, be able to enjoy this with me. So really looking forward to, the rest of this series, to see more friends and family and, starts in the future here at Yankee Stadium.
Thanks, man. Congrats, all right?
Thank you.
Take care. All right, folks, so that right there, Josiah Gray, the kid from our area, and yeah, that was I definitely really enjoyed doing that one. A real inspirational piece, and like I said, he was an all-star this year, 25 years old. There's not a lot of Afro-American pitchers in the game. There hasn't been a whole lot throughout the sport history. There's been some, obviously, of course, some great ones. Folks, I told Josiah, so there's a list called the Black Aces, and the Black Aces it's a fraternity of Afro-American pitchers who have won 20 games in a season at least one time. And there are 15 members on that list. And I told Josiah when I interviewed him 4 weeks ago, I told him about the Black Aces, and I told him one day maybe you could be on that list. And he's off to a heck of a start with an incredible story. But like I said, all-star this year,